It's day 5 of our series of the 12 days to Christmas. I'm not driving, by the way, just in case any of you are worried. It's very cold. It's Sunday the 17th of December here in the UK, and I'm just off to go and see Harry Potter World, which I've never been to see, so that's very exciting. So today I thought we would look at the personality traits that some of us display when we're under stress or facing a challenge or a crisis, and I'm going to refer to the 5 different characteristics that a lady called Virginia Satir from America has recognised. Now, she deals with a lot of families in crisis, and she has studied people to see how they react and what their temperament is and the sort of different characteristics they display. So the first one that we're going to look at is the computer. Now, the computer is somebody who, when challenged or having to deal with a difficult conversation, will use very long, logical words, some words that they know people will never understand, or they don't know the meaning of them, and so they distract away from the conversation, and it's like a protection barrier for them. So that is the computer. Sometimes they'll look pondering, they'll look like they're worried about something, and they'll be internalizing. So do you show yourself up as a computer in any challenges that you have? Now, with all of these different sort of personality traits, it doesn't mean that you are strong in one. It might be that you have a whole range of them and you bring each one out in a different situation. It's just about recognizing yourself, and if you can recognize yourself in them, once you can get that logical brain back working, sometimes we can just laugh and go, oh my goodness, that was me. I dealt with a lady who was very senior in an organisation who recognised herself straight away in the computer. She said, I do this all the time. Every time I am challenged or I face a difficulty, I deliberately shut myself down and I go into that whole computer mode where I use very long words, which I know other people won't understand because they're not everyday words, and I lock myself behind that. So that's the computer. The second one is the Placata. Now, the Placata is somebody who is quite a submissive personality. They will always say sorry even if it's not their fault, or they will go quiet. They're the sort of person that if they're very Placata, they will walk into a shop and apologise before they've even been served, as if walking into the shop is an inconvenience for the person working in the shop. So they'll always say, sorry, do you mind? Sorry to bother you, excuse me, forgive me for doing this. And if there is an argument or a difficult conversation going on, they will always be the one that says, oh no, that was my fault, I'm really sorry about that, and they'll take the blame when they don't necessarily mean to or have to. And they're very submissive people. Then we have the blamer. I love the blamer because you see it in children all the time, and you see it in a lot of adults, and I know that I do this myself. I can be a bit of a Placata, but definitely I can be a blamer, that's for sure. So the blamer is when they get challenged around something or caught out, or they want to save face, they'll immediately switch it to being somebody else's fault. So kids do this a lot. We had a group of kids around last weekend, and if you say, oh, what is that mark there, somebody will immediately say, it wasn't me, no, it was definitely not me, I wasn't here, it was somebody else. Because they're worried about the consequence. They're worried that they've done something wrong, even though they might not necessarily have done something wrong. You're just asking a straightforward question. It's like, where's your homework? Why's your homework late? There's always an excuse. There's always somebody else to blame. Oh, it's in my dad's work case. My mum didn't let me sit down last night and do it. There's always something and somebody else to blame for it. It's like project work. If you have a deadline and a goal that you're supposed to achieve and you don't get it done, we'll often say, oh, I gave it to Tommy down the corridor and he hasn't given it back to me yet, or I've asked somebody else to do something for me and so they haven't done it for me, so it's their fault, not mine. And that's very much about saving face and not being seen to be stupid by other people. And we can go into that very quickly, especially when we feel threatened or when we feel challenged. So do you ever show yourself up as the blamer? So that's the computer, the Placata, and the blamer. The fourth one is the distractor, and the distractor is like the class clown, and they will make a joke or they will distract the conversation away. And quite often they will use language like, oh yeah, it's okay, no, it doesn't matter, no, really, it'll be fine. And they'll distract away when actually it would appear there's something going on for them, but they don't want to address the conversation and the communication there and then. You might have somebody in the office who, if they haven't done something right, they'll distract it and make it into a joke. Or perhaps you can remember somebody in your class who was always a great distractor, especially if something wasn't going quite right or if there was a difficult conversation to be had. And the last one is is something called the leveler. So the leveler is the assertive person. Now in conflict management models, if you read about them on Google, you will see there's 3 different personality traits: the assertive, the aggressor, and the submissive person. And really, the submissive person is the placata in Virginia Satir's world. The aggressive person is somebody who will always come at a conversation and communication from an emotional point of view. So the difference between being aggressive and assertive is the emotion. If you are talking from an emotional point of view, you're far more likely to be aggressive and using words and language that you don't necessarily mean, and behaviours that cause hurt when you don't necessarily mean to cause the hurt. Whereas if you're the leveler, you're assertive. So it means that you are there in the communication, in the conversation. You're having difficult conversations, perhaps that you don't even want to have. You're checking in with the meaning from the other person, so you're not walking away from the conversation and thinking, actually, I don't understand what they meant by that. So you're always checking the meaning, and you're giving your point of view as well in a calm, logical way, not in an emotional, aggressive way. So they're the 5 personality traits. So do you recognise yourself in any of them? And as you think of your run up now to Christmas, just over a week away, and any challenges that you might be having or any conversations that you know you're going to have in that build up to the Christmas period, can you feel yourself going into any of those sorts of different characters? So I hope you have a great day whatever you're doing. Have a think about that over the next 24, 48 hours, and I'll be back for number 6, and we'll talk about more conversations and some language that you can use that is non-emotional and takes the heat out of the situation. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.